Hello, Guilders, and welcome in to the show. I'm your humble host, Timba the Wizard. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm excited to bring you Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Halaster's Game, Episode 5, I Tyrant Woes. I'm joined by my lovely cast. Goldmoon, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Goldmoon. I use she, her pronouns, and I'll be playing Gobloidus, who is a lovely little fellow who loves bathing in trash.
Perfect. Next, we have Hex.
Hi, I'm TheSeshCast. I'm he, him. I'll be playing Hex Starchild, he, they. In the distant future of 5048, the world is in turmoil. And only one man could go back in time to fix the destruction that was left after, a giant volcano destroyed the planet, and now Hex must stop it, and has come back to find the only other person who could help stop this.
Okay, and who's that other person that knows how to stop the giant volcano?
I can't say too much, or it'll ruin the entire timeline.
That makes perfect sense to me. Amazing. Lovely. And next we have Melkiel.
I'm still trying to type. That one was a fucking doozy. I'm still
That
trying
one
to
had
type
a
that
lot
up.
going on.
Had a lot, yeah.
I'm surprised the captions caught it all. It was there.
I am MishroomSoup. She, him pronouns. I am playing Melkiel. He, him pronouns. Melkiel is here to show what it looks like to do the right thing.
Amazing. And last but certainly not least, we have Werewolf.
Hello. My name is Wherewolfbf. I use they, them pronouns, and I am playing Etta Alumax, last of her line, and here to do some investigative journalism.
Amazing. All right. Would anybody like to do the recap of what happened last time on Dungeon of the Mad Mage?
I have exactly half of my notes. One note has betrayed me, apparently. But I think I have the rest of it in my mind palace, even though this week has been a doozy.
We're here to help you through your mind palace. We have like pointers.
Less. So, we were at a gaping maw, an abyss. We came to kind of like the end of the cavern, and it was still kind of under construction. Underneath it, there was the under the mountain. And we said no. Instead of going down there, we turned around. We went through some of the other rooms that we had previously not gone through. So we did quite a bit of backtracking to kind of make sure we hit all the spots. And we found a dead body with on the other side of a door. I skipped it, but I'll go back to it. It's not really story purposeful, but I also ran into a copper tank with a hinge lid, and we were like, wow, what's in here? It was a piss jar. It was explicitly a piss jar.
A very important piss jar.
A very important piss jar in the fancy feasting room. Like, as all of us have. But anyway, so we kept searching after Gobloidus used the piss jar, because where are the other bathrooms in this place? And we found a body, heavy state of decay. Hex, you'd speak the dead, and greed and deceit killed her. She was a female dwarf from the she was the last member of the Last Laugh. We take her holy symbol, and we're kind of going through the other corridors. We end up running into a troll that is kind of helping himself to the manticores. A little haughty, kind of gauche. They had a thing going on, a little bit of a rivalry, so he was like, "Ha, I'm eating your bones." We tried to trick him, didn't really work that well, and we ended up doing a fist fight. And after that, we did more backtracking through all the rooms, and this is kind of where, because I know how we ended, but I don't know if there was. My notes don't have anything from between this point And I remember we did end up with Gobloidus has a new friend, a clingy friend that wants to take up residence in his hand only, all the time, always. We found this sword stabbed into a mannequin or a training dummy with a bone hand attached to it, which is probably not a great sign, but
It started off bad, and then it got worse because Gobloidus
Exactly
grabbed it and now can't put it down. It's a very big sword for Gobloidus.
big sword. It's a beautiful sword. It is
Beautiful
also
sword.
real cursed sword.
A real course sword? I love it.
Oh,
Rare find. A real cursed
Real
sword.
cursed
Those are
sword.
hard.
A real cursed sword? Ooh.
hey Timbo.
Yeah.
I tried to message you, but my captions broke.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I got you.
Thank you.
Oh, and now we have to give a special. Hex has a magic dagger. Well, not a magic dagger, but a special dagger. He has to give to the compatriots of the dead dwarf that we found.
Yes.
That's right.
Hex actually has a lot of stuff he has to give to people later on in the dungeon.
And is he going to do any of it?
But probably not. It really depends.
What were they, like the grinning wound or something? I don't remember. Merry jesters, knife throwing clowns.
Oh, the first thing? The first thing was I have it here in my
He was part of the group that was like the merry knife throwers or something.
Oh,
See if I have my notes.
I have it written somewhere. Hold on, sorry.
no, I have the half drow thing. It's Skull Fort. It was a flagon and dragon. Skull Fort or Skull Port? I put both down.
Good.
It's Skullport.
Okay, I was about to say now I'll never know. It's a 50-50 gamble each time.
The wild thing about notes is I can never find them a second time. Which is bad, because you want the notes. Okay. Episode 3.
What happened to your dog, Hex? I remember you were riding it.
Oh, it's still around. Right? Yeah, it's
Oh yeah, it was like a mastiff, right?
Yeah, I don't think was that a time spell?
No, I think it.
Or-
I mean, the cloak of the jacket of many items is very strange. It's like it almost feels to me like the dog is put into stasis when it's on the coat. So I think he's just as a dog now.
Yeah, they're not.
Oh,
They're not necessarily. It is a real dog, but it can't die. It just goes back to non-existence when it runs out of hit points.
I love that for that dog.
It's like
His name was Latte.
Yeah.
Latte with matcha.
If anything happens to either of these animals, Mel is gonna kill everyone in the room and then himself.
Definitely.
In game.
amazing. And hold on, I'm just about to find the name. The Fine Fellows of Daggerford?
Yes. She was part of the Fine Fellows of Daggerford.
Oh no, she wasn't part of the fine. You're talking about the dwarven woman, right?
Yeah. Wasn't she one of the two that we were going to go back to the top?
She was.
She was last laugh.
Last laugh. I kind of smashed the two of those together. Yeah. Okay.
But with that, we're just gonna dive back into the dungeon. I'm gonna go ahead and activate the stream loots cards, stream loots in the chat to be taken to the website where you can play all those kinds of fun cards and do wild stuff. So yeah, the party finds themselves. Gobloidus is a new sword friend, which does not want to be rid of him. And y'all kind of find yourself in this small room. There's not much else going on other than this training dummy, and there's like a small alcove to the south as well.
Oh, what's in this alcove?
Oh, and friendly reminder as well. Before you had come into this room, you had heard the sounds of breathing coming from the southern area, from this section. Gobloidus, as you push up, you recognize that you are on the opposite end of a secret door, Gobloidus. As you walk up to the opposite side of it, you see that. Oh, thank you, Domino. Melkiel, you get a D6 of Bardic Inspiration, which lasts the rest of the stream.
Hey, thank you.
Unpasteurized blessing.
Yay.
But yeah, as you walk up, you recognize it's almost like that those paintings in like Scooby-Doo, right, where you can pull away like a panel and it slides open, and you recognize that you're like looking out of a painting. Well, it's actually more of a you can see like little stone lines. Like you're getting the sense that you're looking out of like a oh god, I forget the word. A bas relief. And this is what you see. You see into a small corridor, which leads off left and right out of your eyesight. And you see on the opposite side of the wall, and carved into it like as another bas relief, you see like a demonic form.
There's someone in there. Maybe we should go a different way.
Wait, so and where? Hex wants to go look.
Sure, yeah, Hex, you slide the thing back and take a peek through. You see the same thing as Gobloidus did, a hallway that extends to the left and right out of eyesight. And then on the opposite side of the wall, you see carved into it are the reliefs of a couple of demonic forms that you can make out.
Oh, I make myself look like one of the demonic forms. It just looks like one of this. It just looks like this down there.
Hold on. Let me see which one you look like. So what you see across from you, you see a like a large, almost like bird-like demonic form, and next to it, there, you see a like almost what could be described as like an ooze with lots of faces and forms associated with it, like folding and congealing.
I think we know which one Hex looks like. Just a big goo with a bunch of faces. Like, this looks pretty natural to me.
But they're statues, or I guess they're carved into the wall, not necessarily statues. If I pop in, can I pop in?
Sure. Oh, sorry. I realized you might not be asking that to me.
No. Yeah, asking to you, like looking right and left. Do I see anything else in here?
As you open the door, it slides open. The bas relief kind of coming away from the wall. You pull it into you as it kind of slides open, and you see a hallway that extends to the left and right.
Okay.
There are bas reliefs carving the top and bottom part of this wall as it extends down the hallway. You also see in this hallway proper, it kind of extends down a stairwell, and you see there are some very clear pillars that go from the ground to the ceiling.
Oh, definitely. But I can kind of surmise that is back the way, like it connects back to the room we were just in.
Yes.
Interesting.
What is it?
It's just another hallway. Some spooky shit in it.
Oh, well, never mind.
Can I see whatever is on the floor here?
You sure can. On looking at it, it appears to be a skeleton.
Well, also another dead skeleton in here. Presumably dead, I should say.
Yeah, as you take a look at it, looks like you and Gobloidus are moving over to look at it.
I'll keep a healthy distance. Like 10 feet.
Gobloidus runs up. Oh, a skeleton?
Yeah, Gobloidus, as you do that, go ahead and make an insight check for me. Everybody else going to make perception checks.
Perception. Well, it's a 12.
Oh, natural. 20.
Oh.
My elf's eyes see all.
What do your elf eyes see,
Gobloidus
Melkiel
in there.
Dryur?
What did you say, Hex?
All he sees is Gobloidus. Like, oh, Gobloidus is in here.
Gobloidus, you can't really tell. The individual in question, though, they're the skeleton, they are clearly some kind of bird person. They have a large beak coming out, like beaked skull. And Melkiel, you're the only one that notices this. As you guys come out of the hole in the wall, the secret door, you hear from the room with the pillars, you hear the heavy sounds of foot beats, like slapping away from you.
Okay. We just missed somebody.
You want to go after them?
Is the heavy breathing also coming in that direction where the heavy footfalls are?
Yes. And now that the well, nobody's back there, but yeah, that was the general area that the heavy breathing was coming from.
Okay.
Are the footfalls like heavy, weight heavy, or just like flat-footed heavy?
A little bit of both.
Interesting. Okay.
Melkiel will he passes on that information. Like, we thankfully just missed someone pretty massive, and that's where the breathing is also coming from. They may circle around. Do we want to try and sneak up on them, or should we continue on?
What if we go in the opposite direction? I'm sure we'll run into them eventually.
Opposite, like back where we came? Or...
Like to our right. There's a. It looks like
Oh.
it goes southward.
No need to bother anyone. I'm gonna hang out and poke around the skeleton, try to find something.
with your
If there
cursed
anything
sword
interesting.
hand.
Sure.
I keep having to remind myself that you just have a
Yup.
sword glued to your palm. A long sword glued to your palm.
Sure, and Edda, if you look peek down the corridor, you see that it leads back to the a hallway you recognize to the entrance.
Oh, happy day. Do we want to try and get the hand situation solved? This does take us back to the yawning portal.
Yes,
What hand
actually.
thing?
Well,
What hand situation?
Yeah.
Well-
what are you talking
Gobloidus,
about?
my love, your hand situation.
Gobloidus,
Oh.
did you lose a hand?
Remember, it's going to be much harder for you to pick locks and such if you only have one hand.
Yeah, I guess I could go get some help. He's been like dragging the sword on the ground the whole time.
completely given up. Wait, with your fingers open, is it just kind of literally glued to the palm, dragging behind you, or is it continuously falling and then appearing? I need to know how this magic works. Just thematically.
I think it's just stuck there, and he's just dragging it open palmed. It's like whatever.
This is my life now, I guess.
That's
Okay.
the spirit.
It's not. I don't have the energy to attempt to heal you from this, so I would like to have us get that looked at.
I would say also, as this has been introduced to my brain, so I can't forever forget about it. As a metagaming pigeon, as a cleric, I think you can choose your spells at the beginning of a long rest as well. So you might be able to fix it too.
Yeah, I don't have any more spell slots level to do that.
Well, if we long rest, then you'll be able to change your spells around, and
Yeah, I just need the slot back.
well, you'll get your slot back if we long rest, is what Timbo's saying.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if we could go top side, I just need a little bit of a rest, and I should be able to help you out. But
Yeah, I'll drag it around. No need to waste time. I'll just drag it around until tomorrow morning.
Okay, certainly.
Well, what if
Well-
that sword has cool powers, Gobloidus?
no, stop.
You know, also, yeah,
No.
that'll give us a chance to see what happens.
The unfortunate thing I will say about our predicament is discovering that this connects back to the first room. The only path forward we haven't explored is the one with the heavy breathing, I think.
Does he need a breath mint?
Maybe.
Gobloidus, that's
Some-
rude. He could just have asthma.
Well, and this is the pretty dark and dank environment. It would only inflame that. Some people also just he could be congested. It could be a number of things, or he could have a narrow nasal pathway and just prefer breathing through the mouth for a better intake of air.
Definitely.
Sure. Maybe he has 20 mouths.
I haven't encountered anyone like that yet, but I'm not going to rule it
Yet.
out.
Well, shall we go find out who our mouth-breathing friend is?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Werewolf, are your captions good now?
They broke again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but they did break again. So I'm going to need another link. I'm sorry.
That is okay. Let me know if that works.
We'll find out.
Yeah, so y'all go out into this room. There's multiple funny pillars in it, kind of smallish, going from floor to ceiling. This is kind of like a little bit at a lower level than the rest of the dungeon. You can see the stairs going from the north and the east. But as you walk in, you also see that there are stairs going to the south as well. And in fact, that is the direction that you heard those big slapping feet run off to. But you also see to the west, there is also a stairwell leading up too, and that kind of leads into like a little bit of a different section that you can't really, it's like the angle is like a little awkward. You can't really see exactly what's going on, but you do recognize that it extends further like down that hall.
Okay.
Oh,
And I'm sorry.
West.
And one final thing, on one of the pillars up here, I think it's this one, you see the skeleton of a large constrictor snake at the very, like, coiled around the pillar at the very top of it.
Well, we super don't want to get near that, right? That feels like a mistake.
The
and
skin? I'm interested in that skin. He pokes it with the sword, if he can reach.
Gobloidus the tiniest.
Gobloidus, you walk up to the skeleton on the like coiled around the pillar and poke it with the sword, and as you do so, it comes clattering down to the ground. The bones, like as soon as they hit the hard stone of the floor, they shatter into just a bunch of pieces and they go scattering. But after the clatter, nothing else happens. And sorry, one final note as well. On the southeast wall, like over here, you do see that there is something written in common: certain death this way, and it with an arrow pointing to the south.
Did it like super scatter, or would it be recoverable?
It's pretty broken, but not like
Okay.
not that damaged. What do you have in mind?
Well, I was thinking, Melkiel, would you want to collect
Yeah, I
the
was thinking.
bones?
Yeah, I was
And you
thinking
could have a
about it.
little bone snake when you're ready to do that thing.
It would be fun. Yeah, because still have the bangles, haven't attuned to them, but they are still here. Um,
That's true. I mean,
can
I'll
I fit
say,
all of these bones in my bag? Can I just
yeah, why
sweep
not?
up these bones?
It probably, it's probably going to take like you're probably going to need a little bit of space for it because it was a giant constrictor snake, so there's like lots of segments of it. But you feel like you can get enough for like maybe not a full giant size constrictor snake, but like a regular size constrictor snake, maybe.
Okay.
Hex takes out a sack just for
Oh.
you and goes, "Here you go. This is one of my special bone sacks."
Mel just
Huh.
stares at Mel just stares at him and just, okay.
Hex,
Do
you've given me much to
Hmm?
think about.
Does
With
everyone
one
not
easy
have
sentence.
a bone sack for collecting bones?
I can't say that I've found myself needing it.
Well, what are you
Yeah.
doing right now?
Well, this is an out of the ordinary occasion, but I suppose you have a point. And he just kind of starts collecting the bones, and he'll take the sack and gently put them on Matcha's little.
Hold on. I dump out the previous bones that were in there. All right, here you go.
Okay, now what bones were these?
They look like ribs.
Whose bones are these?
I don't know.
Okay, follow up. Where did you get these bones?
Around. I got a bone guy.
We're gonna talk about. We'll have a conversation later. He just starts. He just gets as many bones as he can.
If you
We're
want,
gonna
we can
talk
go
about
meet.
this.
We can go meet my bone guy later.
I do not want to meet that person, but
Bone man.
we'll discuss. So yeah, Melkiel gets all the bones. Well, most of them.
Perfect.
Okay. Does the Slappy come back from the bone clatter?
No.
Okay.
Can we hear Slappy still?
No.
Okay. Well, certain death is tempting. There is a door that doesn't say certain death.
Yeah,
Well,
that one.
But think about it. If it was really certain death, would they point it out to us in a dungeon?
Maybe.
If it was the only way forward, we wouldn't have much of a choice.
You think it's just there to spook us? It's for
I think it's a
funsies?
trap. I think there's actually good stuff in there, not certain death.
Sure.
That
That
I
is
mean,
that is where the large creature went directly.
oh, that's right.
I'll-
We did know that it went south because we were over there. Yeah.
Yeah, good treasure. Yeah, good idea. Let's go this
Sure.
way.
Yeah, and as you kind of come up these steps a little bit, Henrietta, you see, with your light kind of shining down, it extends into quite a long tunnel.
Interesting. Could I, before we go down, can I check and see maybe tripwires or
Sure, make a
places where axes could swing from the ceiling?
Sure, go ahead and make a perception check.
A 12, baby.
No, you don't see any traps, any tripwires, any obvious pressure plates or triggers of that nature. It seems to be just a normal corridor carved out of the stone.
My favorite thing is like every time Henrietta has checked for traps, it's somewhere in the like 9 to 13 range. So it's like, well, I don't think there's traps.
I haven't been wrong yet.
Well,
Onward.
Yeah, you approach the end terminus wall Henrietta, and you come to a corner, which turns out into another much smaller tunnel. But you can immediately see on the ground there is a corpse. Apparently, at obvious glance, a dead goblin.
Oh no. Gobloidus, no! Hex just breaks down and runs over to the corpse.
What? What'd I do? What'd I do?
Oh, okay, no, Gobloidus is behind me. Okay, never mind. Is this corpse... Alright, does this corpse have a jaw?
No.
Pardon me?
I know I have to ask if this corpse has a jaw.
Oh, never mind. Thought you were about to refill your
Oh.
bone sack.
Well, I might later, but for right now.
Oh,
This still has fleshy bits on it.
He sure does have fleshy bits. He's in a state of decomposition. Taking a look at him, his skull appears to have been caved in. There's in fact still a small pickaxe lodged in his head cavity, but he does in fact have a jaw.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna go ahead. Everyone look away.
Gobloidus is terrified about seeing the goblin. Maybe we shouldn't go this way. I don't like pickaxes.
Don't worry, we're gonna see what happened to this goblin as hopefully everyone turns away from Hex as he casts Speak with Dead again.
Sure, for sure.
So his skin becomes all gray, his eyes become full and then become golden, and his hair disappears, and so he just is a big gray monster, and the shadowy magic comes and reanimates this dead goblin, and then Hex turns back to normal and goes, "All right, everyone can look again."
Yeah, as you do so, you see the goblin's chest heave kind of unnaturally forward. Even despite unbreathing, you can tell that like its kind of head rocks forward on its neck, and it looks forward at you with cataracts in its dead eyes. And you hear it go, "What do you want?"
How'd you die?
I got my head caved in. Are you blind?
Oh, I meant like who did it to you?
It was a couple of bugbears, my shift masters.
Wait, your shift masters did this to you?
Guess I wasn't working fast enough, or I was an example to the other goblins. The corpse shrugs.
Does anyone else have questions for this? Or I'm guessing with the pickaxe you were mining something down here.
Yeah, we were carving the tunnel, and he'll point to the south.
Points to the south?
Yeah, he'll point around the corner here.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like he was pointing at a secret door.
Sorry, no.
I mean, he's working with what he has. He can't. Everything else is kind of caved in.
One last question.
Did you say who killed him?
Yeah, the
it's his
hobgoblins.
his shift masters.
Oh, nasty.
Yeah, needs a union down here.
Oh, sorry, they were bugbears. I might have said hobgoblins.
Oh no!
Oh.
I think my brain rewrote something because I do remember you saying bugbears.
Can't think of anything useful. Wait, what were they mining for? Do we know that?
Who did you work for? The goblin guys?
I worked for the dread tyrant of Waterdeep, Xanathar. And with that, the life ebbs from the goblin's body, and he collapses.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
sorry.
we didn't get his name.
He doesn't say I worked for. He said I was a slave for the Xanathar.
Interesting. Not of Halaster.
Oh, that burns my biscuit. Poor goblin.
Well, I guess we know who's down this way.
Yeah, what was
we.
he mining over here?
Yeah, Gobloidus, as you peek, you see a crack in the wall, which opens wide enough that you would be able to squeeze through it if you wished.
Ooh, yeah.
I'll follow Gobloidus.
This is how you find the best treasure.
Worming
Gobloidus,
into the wall.
Gobloidus, with Hex on his heels, worms into the wall, with much to Henrietta and Melkiel's chagrin, I'm sure. As you do so, you follow a tight and winding path through the stonework, which has been chiseled away carefully and meticulously by hand. You can see it is like worked into the hard stone walls, for every inch of stone that has been chipped away, as you kind of push through the tunnel, which finally terminates into a larger room.
Well, do I see any signs of what they were mining?
No, in fact, as you make your way through, it becomes evident to you that this was a path of convenience, a tunnel that was carved maybe for the convenience of the Xanathar.
Oh, we might be coming upon some bad guys.
And as y'all are making your way out of the crack, you see there is a headless statue, half buried in stone debris in the north end, right by like where the entrance is. Sorry.
Weren't the fake vampires on like an offset shoot of the Xanathar? Or were they doing it so they didn't have to deal with the Xanathar?
Oh no, they were an offshoot of the Zentarum.
Oh, okay, yes.
Very, another ZX name.
Of course. Mel and I can't get back there though, right?
No, y'all can squeeze through.
Chunky. Oh, okay.
Okay. Then yeah, we'll come down.
Yeah, it's slow going. It's like difficult terrain, right? But
Okay.
but you can squeeze through well enough. It takes a little bit of time.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
You some of you have to take like your bags off and stuff and like kind of hold them in front of you, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Hex was still small from when he was riding on Latte.
Amazing.
Well, now you were a goo person, so you just kind of slurped through.
Yeah, it's like, I'm okay.
Great. Fantastic audio. Thank you.
Amazing.
For
But
the
yeah.
sisters at home.
So immersive. But yeah, so you find yourself in this room. There are two exits from it, a door to the west and a door to the east. The door to the east is a double door.
Double doors feels good.
Okay. Well, let's check that out.
I make myself look like a goblin just in case.
Nice. Who cracks the door?
Hex will. Hex will poke his head in there.
Yeah, Hex, you grip the door handle in your goblin fist and go to twist the knob. And as you do so, it swings open and you find yourself in another corridor.
Oh.
This one extends off in two different directions.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Interesting.
this is a two-parter. Let's just see what's behind door number 2 over there.
And behind door number 2.
Behind door number 2.
He is Sorrento. Wow.
As you grip the doorknob and twist, pushing it open, it's revealed to be another hallway.
Okay. Do we hear any noise from either of these directions?
Go on and make perception checks, everybody.
Latte, I need your help, please.
Lend me your ears.
Tasty 8.
Well, at least it's a 6.
No, in fact, it seems pretty quiet from both directions. You don't really hear, even with the 22, it's that most, I think, Mel, you're probably hearing the flicker of like candles coming from this southern direction. But other than that, you don't really, nothing is really picking up to you. I would say also, you maybe recognize that this part of the dungeon, very clean behind that door.
This
Clean.
other side, not so much.
No, in
Gross.
fact,
I like things soiled.
no, in fact, it's almost like a hard demarcated barrier with the door. Like beyond the door is like dust and bits of debris, and especially from the mining, right? Like there's clear chunks of rock. But beyond the door, it's you can't see any dust or anything of that nature on the ground.
That's a bad sign.
So to the one to the south is the clean one.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the entire eastern chamber is clean. Like you don't see any dust on and this like path or this one. It's all clean.
Gotta say, this place has been distressingly dirty. I'm not feeling great about a clean space.
Told
Yeah,
you.
that's typically where people in power would be. And do we want to deal with that in our current state?
I mean, I wouldn't mind.
Well, Gobloidus, do you think you
I just want
could
to see one person. Let me
fight?
look at one person.
I think you chose your you chose your person. Are you regretting the goo form or?
Well, I mean, if I can lock eyes with a single person, I can know everything.
Definitely.
Well, the clean pads may be smaller than everything else. Should we try the eastern area first?
Sure.
Okay.
As you move away, do you guys keep the double doors shut or do you keep them open?
Oh, hey, why do you ask?
No reason.
I think we should close them behind us. It's only polite.
Sure. And then the lock clicks.
No, nothing of that nature. But the doors do. You'll close the doors behind them. So yeah, you see that there are a couple different directions to go. You can continue this way, and you see that it does continue to the north as well. And there's also a southern direction you can go, which you see extends into a small hall, or into a hall going left and right.
A light. Someone over here. Hello?
Gobloidus, your hello echoes down the hall, and as you kind of make your way into it, and you see that this hall extends very far in both directions, to the left and the right, and dotting the walls are in little inlets are some candles that are lit and flickering.
They're set into the wall.
Yeah, like carved in little niches.
This place is nice.
Yeah, I could use a sprinkle of trash, but it's alright.
Okay.
Oh yes, this place is also very clean and meticulous.
Let's try. Excuse me. Let's try the right first.
Yeah, y'all continue pressing down that corridor, continuing to encounter candles inset into the walls as y'all progress around the corners.
Maybe they've got some food. I'd like some roasted trash.
They may not have that particular dish.
I hand Gobloidus some of the nasty trash in Hex's pocket. Here you go, buddy.
Thank you. Nyam, nyam.
Amazing. And you'll round the final corner of this bend and come face to face with a large mirror. It is floor to ceiling. And you see in the mirror, in the frame of the mirror, it's stone. And there's like a little... there's like a little engraving of like a little wizard holding a wand in the framing.
Oh. Any words or anything around?
No.
Okay.
A wand? Gobloidus will pull out the wand of secrets and start waving it around when he sees the picture.
Yeah,
Fun.
Gobloidus, as you start to wave the wand around, you get the sense that like you get as you do so, you feel almost like the mirror is like reading you a little bit and taking stock of your measure and your worth, and it finds you wanting, and it does not. Nothing happens.
Nothing happened.
Did you?
I
And
take out my Christmas gun and point it at the mirror.
You see yourself pointing a Christmas gun at your.
Now you gotta ask yourself.
can't trust anyone, not even yourself.
He's like, he looks over at the rest. Like, now you gotta ask yourself: did I refill before I aim the gun or after? Well, do you feel lucky, huh, punk? I'm gonna squirt the gun at the mirror, see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. The mirror it gets a little damp and is coated in water, but nothing else happens.
Now 20% wetter.
A fine mist coats the,
Oh,
coats the
no.
screen.
Well, I did all I could.
None of us have identify or anything like that, right?
Well, no.
Maybe after a rest, but not right now.
Maybe after I take a nap.
Gotcha.
Can Mel just investigate the mirror?
Sure.
I mean, does the iconography mean anything? Like the little wizard man?
Sure. I'm gonna say you don't need to roll, but I will say that as you kind of like take stock of it, you do get the sense that this thing is clearly magical and with purpose.
Mhm.
And you even get the vibe that like Gobloidus probably did the right thing, but something about this makes you feel like maybe you're not ready for it yet.
Okay. When I'm older and wiser. Maybe after I send my kids to magic college.
Is the little wizard like a carving?
It is.
How big is it? The carving?
Not huge. I would say maybe we'll say a foot.
Okay, gotcha. Do you mind if I take a quick minute here with this?
No, not at all.
Okay, wonderful. And Henrietta does a quick sketch of the wizard and like the mirror. And I guess did Gobloidus tell us that the mirror was wanting something?
No, I just saw the picture of the wand and I started waving my wand.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna do it on one of my paper birds, and it's just gonna say like magic mirror ? Unwanting . And then I'm gonna send that to my contact.
Beautiful. What was the contact's name again? I think we came up with a name for them last time.
Yep, I gotta go look. It's Cinzy Upton, who writes for Deep Sheet.
Cut to Cinzy. It's Hex in a wig He gets another bird. Oh, they're doing great down there. What a story.
Amazing. But yeah, so you take that note and the bird flaps off down the out of the dungeon. What do y'all do next?
Oh, this might be something we need to return to later.
Yeah, you guys done admiring yourself in the mirror?
Oh, Gobloidus, don't you like to look at yourself in the mirror? You are so handsome.
He blushes. You know, I rub trash on my skin all the time, and thanks.
You really put in the work. No, I respect that. Pinnacle of goblin beauty. Shall we? Stolen matcha. You'll never catch me alive.
Sorry, my audio got real fucky-wucky there.
Oh no, you're all good.
I have been struggle bussing with this all day. I'll fix it later. Sometimes you guys just get like super quiet, and then I go sprint back to Discord to like crank you all the way up, and then my ears hurt whenever it fixes itself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, technology. Anyway, hi friends.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the captions. I'll just keep trying to sending you links, but I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna worry too much about it.
I don't know what's happening, but it's having a time tonight.
It sure is. So yeah, y'all continue down the corridor to the west. You find that there is a door, a regular sized door to the north, and to the south, another tunnel.
Oh.
Interesting. We have a preference?
Let's see the door first.
Okay. Then Hex opens the door.
Yeah, you crack open the door, and inside is a small, empty room.
Like a closet or like sleeping chambers.
Literally looks like a closet.
My cave is more spacious.
It really is.
Did you use a charge on your Wand of Secrets when you did the mirror?
No.
You try in there if you wanted to. No pressure.
Oh. He waves the wand.
Yeah, as you do so, nothing happens.
Nothing happened again.
Lovely.
Yeah, ain't that just the way?
I forgot also, part of recap was Henrietta got her copper mask last week. Or last session. Bronze mask?
Bronze, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have 3 of the 4.
We just need to find hexes.
It's somewhere.
And is this a dead end?
It is a dead end.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you see there are a few more ways to go southbound along this passage.
And Mel's just kind of keeping his ears on a proverbial swivel, trying to listen out for any activity.
Sure. Yeah, and as you round this corner, you see that this, again, the corridor extends out to the east.
Oh.
Seems like
Kinda looks
another
like
area that's unfinished.
Or it might wrap around.
It very much could.
I've gotta try it.
You just sprint off down the hall is what I'm imagining.
Hex just starts running.
Yeah, you come to another curve in more nondescript tunnels. These tunnels don't even have the niches carved into the walls for the candles. But again, there is no detritus or stone or dust or anything of that nature.
Hmm. Really
Gobloidus
clean
looks,
to be in.
he looks pretty disgusted and starts sprinkling some pocket sand on the floor just for comfort.
Something concerning about this. This is a
Yeah.
pretty unoccupied area from what we can tell, and yet it's still all clean.
There was nothing in that closet. It was just empty, right?
Yep.
Fully barren.
Mhm.
Not a janitor's closet.
Although it was maybe slightly dusty in there, which was notable due to everything else being so pristine.
Yeah. Interesting.
And as you all kind of look down the corridors to the left and the right, I assume that's what y'all will do. You see that they terminate at dug at stone walls, kind of similar to the stone walls that y'all had seen that had been being chiseled out before. But these go into hard stone. They're no passages.
But also, unless there's a very skinny room, it feels like positionally we are kind of parallel to other hallway. Know what I'm saying?
You think maybe there could be a trapdoor somewhere around here?
Or, I don't know. Feels like this might just be a bunch of dead ends. Kind of like over by past the manticore's nest.
Oh.
Gobloidus goes over to this, expecting to find like another cave and starts poking around.
Sure, yeah, Gobloidus, you give it like a good little bit of time as you do so, poking at it. It is hard stone wall, and you do not find any way to penetrate or go deeper therein. You would probably require chiseling it out.
Mella's gonna do the same thing on this and kind of try and look for any type of like a little secret door or a passage or.
Yeah, absolutely. You go ahead and do the same as Gobloidus, giving it a good once over, poking at it again, and you find the same. It is hard stone wall that appears to have been maybe being worked at one point, but not currently.
It's so super clean, not even dusty.
Oh yes, there is no dust, not even up to the stone wall where the wall would have been being chiseled out.
At least the other places looked abandoned. This is not used, but it's being given a thorough clean. And let's check down south. Mel's gonna start heading that way down here.
Yeah, y'all continue down south, and you find that I assume y'all approach together.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me pull myself over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you find yourselves at the end of another corridor, and this one opens into a much smaller area. However, you see in the middle of this like space right here, a bronze mask is floating in the air.
Oh.
Grab it! Don't you need one, Hex?
I guess so. I mage hand it.
Sure. As you go to grab the mask with Mage Hand, you find as you do so, there's like a barrier that is in your way, and as you do so, you touch the Mage Hand touches something, which causes the entire surface to ripple, and y'all are able to see there is the mask is not floating there, but is in fact being suspended there in a large cube of ooze. Everybody go ahead and roll for initiative.
Oh, you're eating everything. Gotcha.
I'm glad you guys are in a nice 4x4 cube.
I
Injure.
am a menace to society.
Hey, don't forget to click on your token.
I super did already.
Gelatinous cube.
I don't know why I didn't think about it. I was like, it's like something's just kind of scraping.
That was when we were coming back from the mirror. I was like, all of these are recessed. Interesting.
Oh, you're right.
Yes, and as you look at the floor, you do see that the cube does have like a bunch of detritus, like kind of floating in that at a low level.
Gross.
And
Oh,
without,
gross.
so does anybody have a passive perception of higher than 15?
Yes.
Yeah, or no. I'm 14.
No.
Nope.
So Melkiel, you would have seen this coming, so you're not surprised. So you just literally the moment before the gelatinous cube was about to spring, your eyes catch it in the light, and you have a moment to act beforehand. What do you do?
Oh, good. It was still invisible at that point, right?
Kind of. I mean, it's not technically invisible. It's just really difficult to see.
Okay.
It's transparent. So it takes a successful DC 15 perception check to spot a cube that has neither moved nor attacked. So you've seen the cube because of your passive. So nobody else really knows what's really about to happen.
Okay. Since he's kind of positioned right there, I'll just say he kind of put his hand out and tried to stop everybody progressing forward and cast Sacred Flame.
All right, perfect.
And that is a Dex check 14 or Dex save 14.
Wow, he's terrible at dexterity, and he rolled a 15 somehow. So he's going to take half.
Melee. No, it's a cantrip.
Oh, cantrip. Gotcha.
Okay, that's all I got. I'm gonna scoop up Matcha and get Matcha the heck out of here.
Sure, yeah, you can definitely still move.
Priorities. Sorry. Good luck, everybody. She doesn't fight.
Though the cube will take an attack of opportunity against you if you attempt to move away.
That's fine. She's more important than I am.
7 to hit, though. You're able to dodge out of the way. Motherly instinct just surging.
Text you. Yeah.
Perfect. So that is going to make it the cube's turn. The cube is going to move very slowly. It can only move 15 feet, but that's enough to be able to engulf, I think, Hex and Gobloidus.
Oh no, what's happening here?
Oh, Melplay, he would have warned you. Just on the way.
So
Is there a save? I don't know how gelatinous cubes work, or are they just there?
So engulf. The cube moves up to its speed. While doing so, it can enter large or smaller creature spaces. Whenever a cube enters a creature space, the creature must make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw. So Gobloidus and Hex make DC 12 dex saves.
I'm good.
So Hex, pick a space 5 feet next to it, or sorry, you can pick a creature that chooses. Oh, sorry. On a successful save, the creature can choose to be pushed 5 feet back or to the side of the cube. So pick where you go.
I'll go right here.
That is wise because it is then going to go to the north and head after Henrietta. But at which point it will take the dash action. So it will continue moving. So Henrietta, go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw as it tries to swoop you up.
Oh, a dexterity saving throw.
Oh,
Why?
I mean, this is cozy.
That's an 18.
You make it so you can choose to be where do you get pushed by the cube?
I'm gonna I'll pop back out here.
Okay, it's going to continue
Actually,
advancing.
I'm gonna pop this way.
Yeah, it pushes forward past you. You slip past it though. That's 25, and then it's going to go one more for Melkiel. Melkiel, go ahead and make that dex save.
Okay.
Run, Puppo, run.
Right. Matcha is invincible. She can't fail. That 3. I can fail though.
Melkiel, you quickly like almost like kind of chuck Matcha to the ground, like as the gelatinous cube kind of slurps you into it. So on a failed save, the cube enters the creature's space and the creature takes 3d6 acid damage. So you and Gobloidus both take 11 points of acid damage.
Oh my god.
Okay.
You are restrained. The engulfed creature can try to escape by taking an action to make a DC 12 strength check. So that will be on your turn. Oh, you're gonna uncanny dodge? Yeah. Okay. Gobloidus tries to make themselves as small as possible using their armor just against the acid. You only take 5 points of acid damage instead. So that is going to put us at the top of the round.
All right. First Hex will go, Latte, run away! And Latte will go as fast as Latte can away from the cube.
Yep.
And then Hex is gonna shoot the cube with a crossbow, hopefully not hitting his friends.
Yeah, you don't think you there's enough cube that you're not concerned about hitting your butts. Go ahead and roll the
Actually,
hit.
how far does this squirt gun shoot?
10 feet.
All right, I move up a little bit. And I go, eat this, and I will try to hit with the squirt gun.
Is it just loaded with water?
I don't know. I was just given this gun on Christmas, and this is my first time using it, other than the mirror.
Sure. Go ahead and roll the hit with the squirt gun.
I'm guessing it's the same as like a crossbow.
Yeah, just roll that. Same general mechanism. A 13 hits. You squirt the squirt gun onto the ooze, and you see it grow a little damper, but you don't see it really.
It's still taking 13 psychic damage.
From your subclass thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you see, it doesn't react to the water, but then almost as it's stripping down, you see it the water glow with a your kind of shadowy magic energy, and it ripples through the cube, dealing the psychic damage.
Take that.
Amazing, maximize psychic damage too. So good.
Hex is gonna run away.
Okay. All right. That is gonna make it Gobloidus' turn. Gobloidus, it is the start of your turn. At the start of each of the cube's turn. So, Gobloidus, you are stuck within the cube. What do you do?
Starts struggling and trying to swim out of the cube.
Sure, go ahead and make a DC 12 strength check in order to escape. Yeah, Gobloidus, you're able to wrench yourself out of the gelatinous cube, pick a space next to the cube to end up.
Ah, nice and slimy. Thanks, cube.
Amazing. So that would have been your action, but you still got a bonus in your movement.
Bonus, he's just gonna saddle back a few spots.
Perfect. Alrighty, that is going to make it your turn, Melkiel. Melkiel, you see Gobloidus pop out of the gelatinous cube. What do you do?
Okay. Definitely gonna order Matcha to get the heck out of there.
Oh yeah,
So-
Matcha runs off after Latte.
Okay, cool. And then getting free is my whole action, right?
It would be your action.
Dinky.
Just attack it from the inside.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Might.
Oh, you are restrained right now. Let me double check what restrained is. That's one I always forget. A restrained creature's speed becomes 0 and can't benefit from any bonus to speed. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. The creature has disadvantage on dex saves. So you can still make attacks while you're subsumed. You're just at disadvantage. Or you can try to get out as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I muted for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Apologies. So yeah, you can while you're restrained, you can still restrained creature speed becomes 0 and doesn't benefit from any bonus to speed. And attack rolls against the creature have advantage, while the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. So you can still attack while inside the cube, but you will be at disadvantage to do so.
Okay, now I'll just try to get out.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and make that strength check.
Oh boy, my best. Great. 4.
Oh no.
You try really hard to wrench yourself out of the cube, but you're stuck in good. It seems like
no.
it wants to. It seems like it's enjoying the natural milky flavors.
It's fair, granted. I am delicious, however. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, that is going to make it Henrietta's turn.
Party. I'm going to cast a witch bolt on it. So that is going to be 17 to hit,
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
or 7 damage. And there's like electricity sparking off Henrietta shooting into that thing right now.
Perfect. Yeah, where's the electricity like sparking from?
I think it's just like traveling down her arm and she's pointing at it and the electricity is like sparking off her into the thing.
Amazing. I love that. All right, great. That is going to make it the gelatinous cube's turn. The cube is going to do the same thing that it did before, and it is going to dash at y'all.
Oh,
Gobloidus, Henrietta, go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
I do not do it this time.
A 9, you get subsumed. Oh, I'm sorry. And because it is the start of the turn, Melkiel, you're going to take 6d6 acid damage.
Oof, all right.
Yeah.
Melkiel, you take 21 points of acid damage as the acid eats into you.
Oof.
And then the cube is going to continue pushing.
Could I do my inspiration there?
Yeah.
Okay, much better. That's an 18.
Sure. Go ahead and pick which where you want to end up.
I'm gonna pop out on the other side again.
Perfect. The cube does not pay any mind to that, though, and continues its assault. Gobloidus, go ahead and make that dexterity saving throw as it attempts to eat you as well. 21. Pick where you pop out of. Now, I will say, if you move
Did Hex
there...
just bamf off the map?
No, he's sorry. Let me go ahead and reveal that. That's my bad. If you were to move to that side of him, you do get the sense it is moving in that direction.
Well, I didn't know that.
Fair enough. All right. At which point the cube continues forward. Gobloidus, make that save again.
Ah!
You 13 is enough. Pick where you get pushed to. And then
Magic Gobloidus swimming through it.
He can make it. He's svelte enough that he can make his way through now because of the goo from the ooze. And then Hex, it tries to get you as well. 12 meets it, beats it. Go ahead and put yourself in wherever you like.
All right. Let's go this way.
Perfect. All right. That's the cube's turn. Hex.
All right.
Oh, you have so few hit points right now. Oh my god.
Sometimes life happens.
Comes at you fast.
And unlife happens as well.
Yeah. Oh no. I guess I just have to try to stab at it with a rapier. On guard.
21 will hit. Go on and roll damage.
Last bardic. Hiya.
Nice. 18 total points of damage.
And then I Zordberg away.
I'm Zoidberg.
Amazing. It will take an attack of opportunity at you with a soda pod. 10 to hit though is not going to hit as it just whips the cobbles beneath you, cracking it with its acidic whip. Anything more?
That is all.
All right, nice. It looks very shy of being bloodied in this moment. Gobloidus.
Hey, let my friend go. I mean, I like swimming, but not everyone does. And he'll hit it with the rapier.
Absolutely. Go in and roll to hit. Wow, with the crit. Go in and roll damage. Go ahead. I think add sneak attack because your friend is kind of assisting you in this moment. So, oof, that's a lot of damage. Holy shit. 34? 34 points of damage?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tasty.
Yeah, you've Gobloidus, after swimming through it enough times, you found like what you would deem to be like the central nerve cluster of the cube, and with that in mind, you just stab at it, precision strike with the rapier, and you decimate it. You see the cube instantly begin to like shrink greatly in mass as at this very devastating blow, but it is still up, and you still see your friend inside of it. What do you anything more?
Yeah, he's gonna use a bonus to disengage with his roguish abilities and just kind of get out the way.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Feel free to move as far as you wish with your movement. Excellent. That is going to make it your turn, Melkiel.
Okay, it feels very destabilized.
Yeah, it feels pretty hurt. Like one good whack would probably do it.
Okay. I'm just gonna do inflict wounds from the inside.
Perfect. Go ahead and roll to hit with disadvantage.
Okay. If you don't fail me now. Let me right-click disadvantage, darn you. Oh my goodness. There we go. I'm going to use my inspiration.
Inspiration.
Before you do so, though, a 9 is enough to hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Never mind. Just kidding.
The goo does has no armor.
I mean, that's true. It is kind of out here. That is 14.
That is 2 points more than what you needed. Go ahead and describe your kill.
Melkiel just kind of sees what Gobloidus hits to deal such damage, and he kind of painstakingly reaches his arm through the thick goo, grasps it, and this energy starts to flow through his hand in kind of black veins, and the hall just gets permeated with sour, rotten dairy and cheeses going bad, and just like, yeah, that's definitely something that's turned, and the rest of the cube gets crumbly like goat cheese and falls apart.
Amazing. Yeah, and you come sliding to the ground on this pile of rotten and foul milk products.
He's staring up at the ceiling, considering his life.
Amazing. And with that, we're out of combat.
Nice. Hex goes to run over and go, "Are you okay?" It's gonna heal you up a little bit.
So,
Oh, get the mask.
Oh, you cut out Werewolf.
oh, Hex, darling, that's your mask as well.
I mean, yeah, I was more worried about our
For
friend
sure.
covered in
If I
acid.
could help, I
My-
would. I just simply have no healing of any kind.
That's okay. Thank you.
Our friend is covered still in acid a little bit.
Yeah,
little
I
bit of
am.
acid.
I am.
I'll give you a second level.
Oh, well, thank
You'll-
you.
Oh no! And you take the psychic damage on top of that.
Good. Good. Thank you.
That is bittersweet as fuck.
Oh no! Just the heal.
That's so good. All right, amazing. And with that, I think we'll go ahead and take our break. We're going to be back in, let's say, 15 minutes. So we'll be back at 8:40. Stick around. We'll do a raffle even. Hang out. We will be right back.
Bye.
Hello and welcome back, Guilders. Thank you so much for your patience. We are back with Dungeon of the Mad Mage, episode 5. I Tyrant Woes. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm going to go ahead and close out the raffle real quick and do the drawing. Last second option for you to jump in if you want to get a Stream Loots pack. Sorry, too many things. Okay, here we go. Close giveaway. Draw winner. Domino! Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yay.
Yo!
Honestly rigged if you think about it. I don't know.
Rigomoris, girl. Rigomoris.
You should have that pack
See, that's
coming
an
your way.
admission.
All right, amazing. But with that, I'll go ahead and reactivate the card too. With that, the party finds themselves back in the dungeon, maybe a little slimed, covered in a little bit of gelatinous cube ooze, but and maybe a little worse for wear, but still alive and kicking as the party rejoins them.
Okay. That was thoroughly unpleasant.
Yes, and now that you are okay, Hex will reach down and pick up the mask, and then the Zelda theme plays.
Yeah. I'm gonna put my mask on.
I will join you.
I feel like you have enough problems with the sword, but okay.
I mean, Mel, do you want to put your mask on as well?
Problems are blessings.
I mean, I'll do it if you're doing it.
I'm not we don't know what they do when they're all together.
That's what I'm saying. We could take a little bit of a gamble. It'd help us figure out what the points thing is. Or maybe just get more points.
And does anything happen? Do we hear anything whenever Hex grabs that last mask?
Other than of course, the Legend of Zelda noise playing. No, there's-
Naturally, yeah.
There's no other fanfare other than that, of course.
Okay. He'll consider it. He's like, okay, I don't really have the energy to do too many spells, but we'll try it. And he will also
Certainly.
put his mask on very
I'll join
gingerly.
you.
Yeah, as the two of you don your masks, the visage covering your faces, nothing happens.
Oh, maybe we should go back to the mirror now.
Try.
I mean, we look good.
I mean,
Oh
you
yeah,
all,
we look amazing.
you all do look very good.
Mel is just He has that look on his face, like where you really, like you really don't want to go to the store, but you're being dragged to the store. You know you have to do it eventually, but he just does not. He does not want to.
And this is all happening under the mask, but the eyes are really evoking this.
Yeah. Gazes tiredly. He'll call Matcha back to him as they head back to the mirror.
Yeah, you like very Scooby-Doo-esque Matcha and Latte kind of like peering around the corner, their heads stacked on top of one another.
Babies.
Yeah, so y'all continue backtracking slightly.
Sure.
Making our way to the mirror dimension.
Oh yeah, you come across the mirror wearing your visage, the masks, and you are surprised to find 4 individuals in the mirror reflected wearing Halaster masks.
Oh,
Well,
here you go.
Gobloidus is very inspired. He takes out a dirty napkin and like paints with some. I mean, let's just say it. It's craniums, little toilet stuff. He paint onto he paint onto the.
like how you approached.
He paints onto the handkerchief with that special paint a picture of all of us wearing the masks, and he's like,
Oh my
he's
god!
so proud.
Mel was just like, okay, that's great.
That's incredible.
Fantastic.
Gobloidus, make me a performance check to see how well this comes out.
It's so beautiful.
11. It's not, it's not bad. It's actually fairly recognizable, like who everybody is in the painting, in this portrait.
Gobloidus. I love it.
I'm going to
Thanks.
take off my mask for now, but I appreciate your artistic expression, Gobloidus.
It seemed like a nice team moment.
I need a bath. And Mel's just gonna start walking back. It's like, I'm out of here.
Amazing.
Well, do we have any direction we're interested in? There's the way to the west, and I suppose the way to the east now.
Not too. We can try the other way to the west, that northern passage. Oh wait, was this a door? This was a dead end, right?
I guess.
Okay.
Also, thank you, Domino. The next next PC has advantage on their roll.
Hey, thank you.
Rage Q.
Right.
Hey, thank you so much, Rach, for the subscription. Welcome in.
Ooh. So we're going to the west, is what we decided?
To the west.
Yeah.
I will say that last fight was a doozy, and
Yes,
my servos are running a little hot. How are we all feeling?
I think if we have another large encounter, I don't see it going very well.
I am thinking that as well.
Time to rest.
Time to take a little nappy nap.
If we can find somewhere relatively safe to do so.
What if we went back in the unfinished tunnels? These feel relatively untrodden. People probably still think that there's a gelatinous cube down here.
We could do that.
Yeah. What's over here?
Gobloidus, with a morbid curiosity, peeks just a little bit forward into the dungeon and sees another corridor extending to the north, with a little bit going to the east further.
We could explore further. Do we hear anything?
No, it's still, other than the flickering of the candles, it's very quiet in this hall.
We know something or someone went southward. But if it was a large creature, well, maybe it could have fit through. A little unfinished pathways.
I'm interested in going a little further.
Okay, because yeah, it's clean all the way up here, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that little stretch that you peer through, it does appear to be as spotless as
Might
the
be
rest
able
of
to-
this area. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the little room up here, maybe.
Gobloidus, you peer down that corridor. You see there is another corridor. There is another small inlet to the north, and then another way at the terminus to the south. And Gobloidus, as you walk up, you see in this small inlet is a bas relief that is carved into the back wall of the alcove, in a shallow niche. Although Gobloidus, you're wearing your mask still.
Yeah, I swear in it.
Gobloidus, and Hex, you're still wearing it as well, right?
Yeah, Hex didn't take his off. Just
So-
2 goblins wearing Halaster masks.
So the goblin brothers, you see something different. Henrietta and Melkiel, you see a bas relief of an individual, seemingly playing a harp. It's a heavyset man, wearing scant clothing, almost maybe like a toga. But Gobloidus and Hex, you don't see that. You see an opening.
Oh?
Ooh.
Hex goes to walk towards it.
Yes, and as you do so, you walk through, from Henrietta and Melkiel's perspective, y'all walk through the wall.
Wow.
Oh.
So we'll adjudicate what happens to Hex and Gobloidus, but what do Henrietta and Melkiel do when they see their friends disappear?
Are there any notes? Or, like, is there any signs around?
As you close to the bas relief, you do see that there is an inscription in the framing. It says, oh, sorry. It says, "Come hither," in common.
I touch it?
Yeah, as you touch it, oh, I'm sorry. It says more than that. It says, "Come hither" at the top, and then at the bottom it says, "Gaze upon me with bronzed visage, and secrets shall I reveal."
Well, shall we?
I suppose we shall.
Henrietta pulls
Yeah.
out her mask and goes towards it.
Yeah, and at the moment that you don the mask, you see that there is a gaping hole where the bas relief was.
Interesting. Well, I'll step towards it.
Yeah, Mel will follow as well.
Wearing the mask?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the same thing happens. It appears. Yeah, and so Gobloidus and Hex, y'all don't even really know like what the holdup is with the rest of the party. You have just passed through this opening, and you find yourself in a different space. You all find yourself in this room to the north. It's kind of like
Ooh.
you like looking back over your shoulder. You see it's kind of like a smoky, misty entrance to where you have entered. Like it's like the doorway itself is like kind of like encroached in mist almost. The world itself shrinks to a gloomy realm that stretches on in cold stone pastures for as far as the eye can see. Upon a freestanding wood wall hangs a painting of a wizard whose eyes shine with madness. And below it sits that same man reading a tome in a high-backed chair. He's facing away from y'all towards the fireplace. As y'all enter, the wizard looks up from his home and smiles. He says, "Well, don't stand there like a boob. 3 questions of this lair you can ask. Twice will the answer be true and once false. And be quick about it. The show must go on."
Can we bring matcha and latte in here? Like
Yeah.
carry them in?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's your first question. Next.
um. Does anyone have questions?
I'm trying to think of a.
Where is the Underdark? And where is the way to Skullport? And I want to cast. I want to do a detect thoughts on this guy.
Ooh.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I did it before, and he was just insane.
Yeah, as you detect thoughts on the individual, the same thing kind of happens. It's almost like spacious inside of his mind as you kind of delve into it. Bigger than any mortal maybe you've ever encountered before. There's so much going on inside this person's mind, and not all of it is under his control. And it is like a little overwhelming. Go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw.
God damn it! This is just the surface thoughts.
Yeah, this is just the surface thoughts.
This man's crazy. I got 4.
Wisdom 4. You take 5 points of psychic damage just trying to understand his surface level thoughts, and he senses you doing this, and he just laughs, and he goes, "Well, you have to find the stairs, of course." Oh well, you would have had a 14 because that was the next roll, so you don't take the psychic damage.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Also,
Nice.
Domino, thanks to Domino, Hex has advantage on the next die roll. So,
Okay, great. Well, I'm gonna use it because I want to dive deeper into this crazy man's brain.
okay, perfect. And you're not trying to be stealthy about it.
No. Not at all. He just has to make a wisdom save.
He needs to make a wisdom save. You got it. He fails. So what exactly happens?
Oh God. Oh Jesus. Well, the way to detect thoughts work is once you dive deep into their mind, you know their life and their life story and how they feel and everything.
I'll say, go ahead and make another wisdom save in that case.
Hex is gonna just actually go insane right now.
And you
18.
have advantage on that roll, so at 18, so the surface level thoughts and the deeper thoughts underneath that are directed around the question that you asked of how do you get to Skullport? And he says you just have to find the stairs, but what you see in his brain is a 3-dimensional map that at first appears to be a 3-dimensional map, but then you see it expand out into another dimension, one that you're not necessarily familiar with. And this is incredibly confusing and difficult for you to comprehend, which is hence that wisdom saving throw, which you succeeded. But you stomach it and you internalize it however you're able to do so. And you recognize that what he has a basically entire complete multi-dimensional working map of Undermountain in his brain, and from that you do glean that you are going to need to take a few more staircases down in order to be able to get to Skullport. Like if the path itself is quite convoluted to the point where you would be hard pressed to memorize it, especially with everything else going on in Halaster's mind. But you do get a general sense of direction.
Hex
just
perceiving
passes
the
out.
4th dimension. Yeah.
Hex fully passes out. Even though he passes out on the ground.
Hex just collapses like a sack of bricks.
Mel
Well,
will try to catch it. Am I close? I feel like we all kind of win it together.
Sure, yeah, Hex. You see Hex swooning, and Mel very strongly goes in and grabs him.
how do we get points?
Oh, you simply have to earn my favor and, avoid my wrath, as it were. One final question. Make it count.
Could ask him about the alabaster throne.
That's what I was
Could-
thinking, but I was also wondering, how do we win?
That one will be a lie, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Think so?
He said 2 are true and 2 are lie, and 1's a lie.
One's a lie.
Interesting. Oh, he could have been withholding truth about the points thing, which I suppose is a lie.
I don't know. Do we want to ask how we win or how to find that alabaster throne?
Well, I'm worried if we ask him about the alabaster throne, he's just gonna, like, how to find it. He's just gonna say, "You go up some stairs."
Yeah, that's true. If he was playing, how would he win?
That's fun.
If you were put into a game of this nature, how would you go about winning?
Oh, I would simply make it to the bottom, as any contestant must do in order to win the game.
Okay.
So I think the points are just for fun.
And with that, the mage shares a smirk. He spreads his hands wide across his lap, and he continues. The rules of the game are simple. Die and you lose. Win and you get your freedom. And a wish. Anything you can imagine. And if you can reach my lair, 23 levels below this delightful madhouse of mine, of course. The Mad Mage looks past you and into the vista. His accent has morphed into that of a stage director. The game has been set and the stakes raised. Ladies and gentlemen, fiends and friends, give it up for our contestants on this season of Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Might they brave the horrors of the Undermountain and emerge victorious. And then suddenly, all around you, it is deafening. The sound of glorious applause from some unseen audience is swooping and cheering. And this is hundreds, if not thousands, of people clapping and cheering simultaneously. And you hear each of them shouting your names. Hex, 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 Gobloidus, 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 Etta, 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 Melkiel, Melkiel, Melkiel. What the hell have you gotten yourselves into? The Mad Mage announces to this invisible audience. And we'll be right back after this break. Now, a word from our sponsor. And with that, Halaster snaps his fingers, and you find yourselves outside of the plane.
Back to the statue? Or the little...
Yep, back to the statue.
Well...
And it appears as the bas relief as before.
Even with the mask on?
Yep.
Dang. I was like, we could rest in here. This will be great.
Right? Okay, can you just vacate this space? But, can you, leave?
Hex wakes up, is like, I was in an auditorium being applauded by a bunch of sandwiches.
What?
Wow.
I suppose that could have been what happening, but you did miss a large round of applause, Hex.
All the sandwiches were turkey on rye.
Old choice.
You sound upset by this. Are you all right?
That his head is so clouded. It's there's so much. It's absolutely insane. One could say it's mad, and then Hex turns towards the camera.
Oh my god. Okay.
Just a straight stone
Mel
wall.
lets him go. Mel lets him go. Well, you seem all right. So that was a lot to take in. We should find somewhere to rest and discuss all of that.
Yeah. What's around this corner?
Certainly.
Yeah, Gobloidus, you do a little bit of quick peeking, and you see that it curves into a doorway. Boop.
Oh, maybe there's some beds in here. I'll check the door to see if it's locked.
Sure, yeah. Giving it a cursory glance, it does not appear to be locked. Do you open it?
Yeah, slowly.
Go ahead and roll me a stealth check as you slowly open the door.
Oh, good.
18. Yeah, you very quietly crack the door, recognizing that it might squeak, so you do so very silently. And upon doing so, you see that it enters into a large corridor that goes to the north and the south. The north clearly has further to explore, and as well as the south with a smaller corridor.
No luck, guys. Just another corridor.
Do we hear anything? Or is it still quiet?
Go on and make a perception check, Melkiel.
Okay. Trying to keep my ears on a swivel. It's a 15.
15, you do hear, maybe not as heavy, but you do hear maybe a little bit of breathing coming from the northern passage.
Okay, he'll relay that as we. It's still super clean, right?
In fact, no, actually, as you go through this door that Gobloidus went through, you say the regular amount of dirt and grime that you have come to expect throughout the rest of the dungeon.
Okay. So we're entering another territory. He just kind of relays all this. If we want to avoid a fight, we should probably go south. Hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you continue to the east and then look to the south and see there is the door.
I got this one. Hex is gonna go open the door.
Sure. You go reaching for the handle, grabbing it and giving it a twist. Upon doing so, it pushes open and you find yourselves in another room. This room has several features that are immediately apparent. One is on the west wall is a large map covering from floor to ceiling. It appears to have individual levels on it. Giving it a look, it appears to be about 23 or so at a cursory glance. As well, in the middle of the room, you see is a large open pit that just kind of descends down into the darkness. You also see that there is an opening to the right, kind of like this general area with a door to the north.
And do we see the person there?
Oh, not just yet.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, then
good.
Hex is gonna go run and look at this map.
Yeah, Hex, you run up immediately
Sure.
enamored
Can
by
I
the
help
map.
with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make Hex make an investigation check at advantage as Edda is helping you.
All right. Two 20s.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
20 vision over here. Okay. Yeah, investigation 20, you see this is clearly, especially with Halaster having just told you there's 23 floors, you can clearly tell that this is a map of Undermountain. Like at the very top of it, you can see is Waterdeep kind of cresting the very ridge of it, and then you see 23 levels going down. You do notice as well with the 20, at the third level of the bas relief, there appears to be a kind of outset circle of a flaming skull. At the 16th level is a small outset circle of a comet. And at the bottommost level, the 23rd level, is an outset button with a tiny rune engraved into it.
Now, button, like pushable or just a little icon?
It does kind of look extended out from the surface of the relief.
Gobloidus is going to look in this hole.
The hole is a pit 30 feet down, the bottom of which is filled with stone rubble. But the most interesting thing at the bottom is a man standing there at the bottom looking up. As you come into the room and look down, you hear him shout, "Ho, adventurer! Oh, thank goodness. Thank the goddess Joaquin. Maybe you can be of assistance to me. I appear to have woken up down here. I guess betrayed by my former comrades. I've been stuck though and haven't been able to pull myself up. It's quite deep. Could you throw me a rope?
How long have you been down there?
Oh, I'm not sure. I've lost track of time a bit. I have a few provisions, but I'm running a little low.
Gobloidus will just like throw a piece of I'll give him a piece of cheese.
Thank you. I appreciate the sustenance. He'll kind of bite into it. Oh yes, delicious. Do you happen to? Do you have a rope you could maybe get me out with?
Nah.
Wait.
Just stay in there and eat your cheese.
He bites into it. Can I see if he swallows?
Sure. Yeah.
He's like, well, thanks. Yummy.
Go to make a perception check. There, Henrietta.
Oh, do we
I
lose each other?
fucking love
Oh, sorry.
Gobloidus.
Go ahead and make a perception check, Henrietta, as you try to see.
21.
21. You see a number of things. One, it does seem like he tried to eat it, but like he kind of just grinds it around in his mouth and then the little bits kind of fall out, like don't get swallowed. But the main thing that you notice is that like the man's arm looks really wrong. Like it looks twisted and not like usable like you would expect it to be. And in fact, he's quite pale as well. And as you look down, he goes, "Oh, you have another? Yes. Hello. Yes, I'm Halaster. Could you get me out of here? I'm stuck."
Halaster. Hex goes and pokes his head into the little pit.
Oh, there's a third of you. Perfect. Do you have a rope?
I make myself look like him.
What?
Yeah.
And now there's. Wait. Who are?
You're
must-
already out. We've already saved you.
Hey.
He stammers and looks a little confused. I don't understand. I'm definitely still in the pit.
I do have a rope.
That's the best news I've heard all day. Could you think you could get me
I
out?
pull everyone into a huddle away
And-
from this man.
Oh, and
Yes.
now you've gone. Okay, goodbye. Thanks for the cheese.
I
Yeah,
do
you're
not
welcome.
think this man is alive. Can I just say that?
Well,
Take a moment.
Is that necessarily a bad thing? He's talking. He seems sentient.
It's not a bad thing. However, he did super lie about trying to eat the cheese. He tried to eat the cheese. Super did not.
What a
Henrietta, to be fair, it is wasteful, Gobloidus. However, so we've had a conversation about the way that you care for your cheeses. I would be a little hesitant as well. It's a very kind gesture, but sometimes
Okay, do you have
people,
nicer cheese?
he looks at you. I do.
Do you have your good divine cheese? Could you send him some divine cheese?
Yes, of course.
Just throwing cheese at this man.
Cheese down the pit at this at this obviously dead person of what we've noticed.
Yes, in fact, let me say as well, thank you, Domino, again for playing. Walk a mile in their shoes. Hex has spent time impersonating monsters in the past, giving him knowledge of them. So you could use that card on Halaster if you want.
Oh yeah, I would love to. I want to poke down and I'll just start asking questions that like I would monsters like him.
Sure. A few minutes passes, you ask him some few questions like, hey, how long have you been down here? Hey, what's going on with your arm and that kind of thing.
Do you like human meat? You know.
He balks at that and he says, "Sir, I find that incredibly distasteful.
I have some.
No, why would you get such a thing?" And in fact, as you're looking at him, you see that he has a symbol of Joaquin, but he is clearly a dead man. He is not. This pallor of his skin, the color and the nature of the wound on his arm, it clearly does not look like he is of the living. So you definitely get the sense that he is an undead of some nature. go ahead and make a history check for me to see how much more you know about him.
Okay.
Can I also make a religion check? Do I know who the god he's referring to, Joaquin? Or my brain keeps saying Joaquim, but I feel like that's not
Joaquin
it.
Phoenix?
Joaquin!
You can absolutely make a religion check.
My
Okay,
God, could
thank
someone
you.
have helped me with this?
Do I think it's Joaquin Phoenix? um, you know what? We'll join forces. I will help you on your history check.
Okay. So with the advantage with the 22, you start to talk to him a little bit more. And you ask him, like, knowing that he's an undead, you ask him what's the last thing he remembers, and he says, "Well, I was a member of the Fine Fellows of Daggerford, and we had just got some kind of score. I can't remember what, or maybe we were having a disagreement. I can't remember. It was hazy, but I believe the last thing I remember was we were in this room. My back was turned. Oh, they shoved me. That must be it. They shoved me, and I've wound up in this hole, in this space, and that's the last. And then I woke up here.
Oh, you were betrayed. Okay, well then I'll definitely help you. That's not cool for them to betray you.
Oh, absolutely not. I absolutely would love to pay them back if you if you catch my drift.
I take out a rope.
Oh, excellent. Would you mind looping that for me? My arm seems to be a little out of
you're
service.
right. I lasso him and start pulling
And
him
Mel,
off.
before we commit to pulling this man up, can I do a quick insight check on his like whole character? Like, is he
Sure.
okay? So Mel's just kind of
as he's
preliminary gaze into the hole. The 22.
As he's being dragged up out of the side of the pit,
What are your intentions?
You look down at him, and you get the sense that when he said that he would like to pay his betrayers back in turn, you get the sense that that's true. And I'll also say with a 22 insight, you see the symbol of Joaquin flashing on his chest as he's dragged up, catching the light. And you remember that Joaquin is the god of trade and fair deals, and and the followers are almost like are very adamant about getting fair compensation.
Okay.
Interesting.
You also note, like, it was kind of like hard to spot at first, but as he is pulled up into the limelight, you do notice there is like a little bit of like a fire in this undead man's eyes. But he doesn't seem malicious against you, but you do definitely get like he has like an energy to him.
Oh wait, you were part of the Fine Fellows of Daggerford?
I guess I was. I'm not. I don't believe so. I'm so anymore.
I hand him the knife.
But
A dead dwarf told me to give this to you guys.
if Haleth could go paler, he would go paler. And he said, a dead dwarf. You said.
Honestly,
Ooh,
by
don't
what
feel
you just
good
told
about
me,
that.
it kind of feels like a lot of your teammate was just been stabbing you guys and leaving you for dead.
I remember now. That was one of the things we had been arguing about. That betraying a comrade like that was invoking the wrath of Joaquin. He kind of says to himself more than anything.
Can you tell us a bit about what happened? Do you like who called for her to be?
Killed.
Yes, what called for your party to dispatch her?
I don't know. I didn't really know the Fine Fellows that long. I was one of their newest members. They had lost their healer, and they were looking for somebody to come plunder the dungeon with them. We met up with the last laugh at the yawning portal. I thought that they were, had the best intentions that you can have when you're an adventurer like this, but a word like that as a bond of adventuring and in the dungeon, it's a little different. And I guess it must have been Rex that gave the order. It seemed like everybody acted in synchronous, like they'd done this 100 times before. I balked at the idea of attacking a companion, but I guess this is where it got me. And he'll gesture to the pit.
Is there any way for Mel to at least try to heal or maybe set his arm? Oh,
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to make it just a medicine check.
okay. Mel just kind of approaches. Do you mind if I look at your arm? I may be able to make that a little bit better for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. I don't feel any pain, but it obviously it's wrong. I can't use it, right?
Yes, and we'll see about this whole situation. And he kind of gestures to all of.
Oh wait, you want revenge, right?
Oh yes, I would very much like to see my
That must be
My
what brought
friends
you
again.
back to life.
Hmm.
Look
No.
at
Well,
No, it can't possibly be. It must be the goddess Joaquin. She must know that my time is not done. And
absolutely not.
he'll grab his head.
Hex turns into like a different revenant that he's met. It's like this lady was murdering like a bunch of people who like she apparently a bunch of people killed her family, so she took up being a revenant to kill them all back.
No, it's got to be my lady. She does this kind of thing all the time. Those who have lived good, valiant lives, she brings them back. It's a weighing of the books. But I would absolutely love to get revenge on my friend, on my former friends. In fact, I almost feel like I know where they are.
Oh, really? We should come with you then.
They on this level?
He kind of like thinks for a moment. Maybe a couple of them might be.
I really like this person, guys.
I
They seem
don't
like a
know
cool
about
person.
this hex.
I am also not too sure. And Meld, I got a 23 on like kind of looking at his arm, trying to patch it up. He's not probably that's not gonna heal on its own, that's for sure. But
No, it's pretty busted. Like you put it like in a sling in order to try to like you fashion a sling out of some like spare rags that you have, but you can tell that it's clearly busted, and like the blood that has seeped from the wound is all like clotted and black, and it does not look right. Like it looks like a wound of a corpse.
does this look like okay, now let me ask you this as a religious man. Does this look like godly intervention? This whole like does it sniff? Does it smell like divine intervention?
Well, I mean, that's a little tricky. Go on and make a religion check with that.
Okay, yeah, I know. I was like, that's a big ask. My God does other stuff. That's a 14.
It's possible. You know that like certain clerics and certain people of faith have such strong powers and such strong devotion and ties to their god that they could resurrect others. You maybe have never heard of a god like taking such an interest in resurrecting an individual like this, but you don't see why it would be necessarily impossible.
Okay. And Mel just kind of takes note of that, and after putting the arm in the sling, at the very least, it's not going to be, dangling loose. There's not too much I can do about it other than this. I can always try later on, but do you think your god would, resurrect you for revenge? If you were doing good, wouldn't, she want you to continue on doing good?
Oh no, this definitely is the kind of thing that Joaquin would be into, because they did a bad deal, and so now I'm the that aspect of vengeance to come make them, rue them not doing a good deal. It all makes sense.
Yeah, I honestly I get it. Hex changes his clothing to be like a leather biker and puts his head on fire and goes, "Now we just to make you feel a little more comfortable."
I mean, there are worse allies to have than a pretty powerful undead. I know that's probably bad for you, Mel.
Well, no, it's not. It's not that. I mean, there are all shades, and sometimes people who have been there are documentations of people that have been risen. They tend to not always be for benevolent purposes.
No, I definitely
You do seem
hear that.
you do seem very nice and polite. I just want to double check that this is something your god is pushing forward and not this place. This place has a lot of corruption in it.
No, of course, my god, Joaquin. She is much stronger than any feeble magic that a mortal wizard could possibly conjure, of course.
Well, I can't say I'll help you get revenge, but at the very least, I will make sure that you don't die again.
Well, I very much appreciate that, good sir. And, if we were to be friends while I searched out for these individuals who wronged me, all the better. This dungeon is a dangerous place, and it gestures again to the pit.
Well,
I don't feel like sleeping anymore. Which Mel just kind of leads to the side to tell Henrietta. I was like, I don't want to sleep.
Are you sure? We could set up a little tiny hut in here.
You?
Tiny hut.
be worth it.
Just us two undead bros hanging out.
Oh my god.
I mean, we
Oh, you cut out.
We were looking for a room to rest in. This might be the place, unfortunately.
True. Okay. Well, then I suppose we can take shifts and copy down this map in the meantime.
Well, it's a cross section, right? It's not like a true map.
Yeah, it definitely is like an
It's more like a
artistic depiction.
reference.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it had the different levels.
It
And
does
there
have the
were-
different levels.
But it's like from the side. So like we're not gonna get
Oh, gotcha.
It's like
okay,
a
sorry.
very
top-down.
Yeah, it's like a very generalized map. It's got like thematic
Like a
elements.
cross-section.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to push one of the buttons.
Sure. Which button do you push?
The skull.
Sure. You click the button into which resonates with a hearty click as you do so. When the as the button extrudes from the wall after your press, a magical disembodied voice fills the room and says in common, "Gate access to Skullport disabled."
Interesting.
Do you hit any of the other buttons?
Yeah, I'll hit the other two.
When you hit the comment, it says, in common, "Gate access to Stardock from level 16 only." And then when you hit the final button, it says, "Gate access to Halaster's Tower from level 23 only."
There are 23 floors, right?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. What level was Stardock again? 16?
Gate access to Stardock from level 16 only.
And that was for the comet.
Yes.
Well, we understand you are quite interested in your mission, but we are running kind of low on resources, so we might need to take a bit of a break before we head in. Is that okay, Haleth?
Oh, naturally. I'm happy to accompany you to whatever need that you need, sleeping wise. I would love to bed down in a bedroll instead of the hard rock of that pit. If you have a spare, naturally. I don't mean to put you out.
No, there's plenty of room in the hut.
Have you conjured the hut at this point?
Yeah, I mean, at
I
this
can
point,
conjure it or you can. It doesn't
if
matter.
yeah, let's do it. It's my last one, so I've always save one for the tiny hut just in case. So yeah, I make the tiny hut after a nice ritual 10 minutes and we get in the hut. Everyone, there's so much
Sure.
room.
Ah, I love a good hut. You get some tea?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and establish a bit of a watch. I don't have to rest for very long, so I don't mind taking most of that.
Well, and also, nothing can get inside tiny hut.
Ready.
Don't mind that. Just ignore those. Just ignore those D20 rolls.
Yeah. The
Interesting.
hut is safe and comfy. Come on, guys. They get settled into his regular trash pile.
Mel hates this.
Well, think about this, Mel. We have 8 hours in the hut. We know that we're going to be safe in the hut. If we come out and there are people, we're going to have all of our stuff ready.
Mel just looks at Henrietta, and his back is to Haleth. And he just kind of looks to the side, kind of facially gesturing at Haleth like this man is already inside of the hut. This man we don't know. Confirmed to be from a group that also did a murder and has been resurrected for reasons unknown is already here.
Yeah.
He says all of this with his face.
What's wrong with your face? You need some rotten cheese?
Yeah.
I'm
We
fine.
have rotten cheese.
We're plentiful in it. I'm well aware. I'm all right. I'm just working out our shifts. I can take most of it. I don't need to rest for very long, but we should try to tuck in.
All right. Well, as long as no one looked at me the 2 times during the times I was casting
Good about that.
Speak of Dead, everyone should sleep fine.
Amazing. So yeah, it sounds like y'all bed down for the night. Melkiel may be resting the first 4 hours to get their trance in, and then staying watch the rest of the time.
Yeah. Hex did Hex say that out loud?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
And then he went to his room to sleep.
Oh, good.
What were your normal dreams supposed to be like?
Well, not whatever's about to happen. So yeah.
I mean, it's like every time you interact with someone, at first it's Hex like normally, and then they slowly change to the monster Hex.
Oh, okay. So he's just all over my dreams.
Yeah.
Distorting. Okay, cool.
Every time you look in a mirror in the dream, it's just the monster Hex.
Fantastic.
Incredible. Yeah, so y'all rest up in this tiny hut. And there are like a few moments throughout the course of the night, Melkiel, that you're roused from your trance, but nothing so dramatic or important that you feel the need to rest the rest of the party. Occasionally your fine elven hearing picks up maybe some steps outside the corridor to the north of you, but none ever opens the door or anything of that nature. So you don't feel the need to wake the party during the rest. And the evening passes without event. Everybody go in and take the benefits of a long rest.
Party.
Oh. Just flavor-wise, what was Haleth doing? Were Haleth and Mel just staring at each other in the dark across the hut?
Haleth went to lay down in a space. He would have taken the opportunity to try to sleep.
Okay.
Long rest.
Yeah, so everybody go ahead and get hit points back. Everybody go ahead and refresh spell slots. Melkiel, now would be the perfect time to mix up your spells, your prepared spells, if you wanted to as well.
Yes.
This revenant here is his god is the god of fair deals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk over to the room he decided to sleep and knock on the door. You're like, hey buddy, you okay in there?
Hello. Yes. Thank you for the hospitality. Yes, it's quite nice. I'm having maybe a little difficulty sleeping, but it's a very lovely abode that you've conjured here.
Yeah, I don't really think you need to sleep anymore, but whatever makes you feel better.
No, I'm sure Joaquin would want one of her soldiers to be well rested. I'm gonna keep trying.
Okay.
Oh no.
Well, if
Oh, does he? Okay.
he doesn't know, he thinks he's alive.
Oh boy.
Hex is like, well, so I know the others may not really want to help you with your vengeance and all that, but I'm a little open to it. You could say what I'm willing to make a deal.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I would appreciate any assistance in in this quest. Otherwise I'd be going it alone, which, I could, Joaquin gives me strength, but it would, better to have comrades.
Yeah. So if I help you with your vengeance, what fair deal do you have for me?
Ooh, fair deal. Well, you could have whatever we get off of them. I had a few companions left over. I had that were with us. I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I can somehow sense that several of them are still alive. There was, of course, Rex the Hammer. He was a strong human. He was the one that led the betrayal against the last laugh. Very selfish man. There was Midna. She was kind of a little bit of my rival, I guess you would say. She was a priestess of Shar, who we never really saw eye to eye with. There was Stormforge, Copper Stormforge, a dwarf, a little roguish fellow. He always seemed to be getting into everybody's coppers, ironically enough, since his name. And then of course there was Kellum. We called him the Weasel though because he was just such a piece of shit. He was just always fucking listening in on stuff. Like,
I want him. I want his identity.
Oh,
when we find him, you allow me to have. You can have the rest as you please, but I want him.
Sure. I don't really know that's mine to give, but okay, yeah, you can have it.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll help you, no problem.
Was Hopper the one who was already dead?
Copper Stormforge. No, that was a different individual.
There are 4 people in the next level. X-Men, Copper, and Kellum.
Or that he can sense, right?
Halleck will actually say. Actually, I believe one of them remains on this level somewhere. I get the sense of them. Maybe to the eastish. I'm not sure.
Oh. Okay. Do you want to try eating again?
What do you mean again?
Didn't you try to eat while you were in the pit?
Yeah, I did eat.
Oh. Okay, come on. I guess we go where everyone else to have like a little breakfast before the tiny hut disappears. I want to slip him some special meat.
Ew.
What kind of special
Hey,
meat?
why did you
It's
say
just
it like
special.
that?
It's just special. See if he
How?
likes it.
Explain.
It's probably humanoid.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Gobloidus, this feels like a rather special room. Would you mind trying your wand in here?
Ah, absolutely. He'll take out the wand and start waving it. Abracadabra.
There's 2 exits over here on the right, Timbo? Or is this just one exit? It's kind of dark.
There are 2 exits. It is a little dark. There is the one that y'all came through, and then there is the another door to the northmost area.
But suspiciously nothing down here.
Yes, suspiciously nothing to the south. So Gobloidus, you strut to the center of the room near where the pit is to get maximum coverage for your wand, and you do your ditty, your abracadabra, and by God, the tip of the wand begins to glow. And as kind of like warm, cold, and as you wayfind, as you douse your way through the room, you find the wand brings you to this southern section of wall right here.
Oh,
Oh, a secret.
a secret.
Yeah, with the wand, it illuminates the specific brick you need to press, and doing so, you click it into place, and it opens into a curving passage.
Gobloidus, you're the best.
Hey, thanks, buddy. So, what's in here?
Yeah, it curves on down to the south even further. As you approach and go further down, though, Haleth is kind of like waiting behind, and he's like, I'm not sure what it is, but I get a bit of the sense that one of my former friends is to the east of us. I might catch up with you later.
Okay.
Are you?
All right.
Have fun with your murder.
Are,
Actually, you know what? I'll give him a
Are
bardic
we-
inspiration.
It-
I promise I'd help him. So there you go.
Mel's just like, are we? Are you? I thought you would have liked to have companions with you in case you run into trouble. We just wanted to see what would be down this winding path. Are you certain you can't? It wouldn't be better to go with a group?
Oh, y'all are gonna circle back? Okay, yeah, I'll stick with you then.
You know what's down here?
Oh, I didn't even know that was a secret door. I don't think that. Well, you say that. I am getting the sense that my targets are this way a little bit, but I don't know. There was one target that feels closer to the east.
So it has a feeling like you don't think this circles back around.
No, I don't think it does. And in fact, as you guys approach to the south, it enters a corridor and then it terminates.
Oh,
Huh? What's down here?
Gobloidus, do you give it a look-see?
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check with advantage if somebody's helping.
Yeah, Hex will help. Treasure, Gobloidus. It could even be trash.
Wow, Gobloidus crits with with natural 20 plus 4 investigation 24. You do notice that this wall definitely appears to be the same make of secret wall that you've encountered up until this point.
Oh, yeah. This way. Keep going.
Yeah, so you crack open this secret door, Gobloidus, and upon doing so, you find it leads into a very large new area. Quite large, indeed. You see that there are quite a few features in this room. First of all, there is, standing nearby where the secret door is, there is a large deformed granite statue with a large column to the west of it. You also see that there are multiple exits to this room leading in various directions. One to the north, or one to the north, one to the east, and one to the south. Everybody going to make me stealth checks as y'all make your way into this environment.
disappears.
Holy moly!
Wow.
Well,
Oh, very
okay.
nice. Yeah, y'all are walking on the inside of your feet and making sure to avoid large piles of rubble as y'all make your way into this room. Um, and Melkiel, with your high level of passive perception, you can hear the sounds of lots of breathing coming, especially from the north, a little bit from the east, but it is fairly quiet to the south.
Okay. So he hears it coming from multiple directions. So like
Mhm.
here and here. Oh, it's quiet to the south.
It's quiet to the south, but from the north you can hear lots of breathing, and from the east you can hear some breathing.
He relays that. Sounds like the same heavy, like open mouth breathing we heard earlier.
The east, definitely.
Okay. He relays that to them.
Oh, the 10-mouth guy? I'm gonna look at the statue.
I'm gonna step away from the statue. I just had a PC die in a different game because of a statue, so I'm gonna come over here.
Yeah, the statue is life-size and depicts a dwarven king standing atop a 3-foot-high stone pedestal. Sprouting from the king's neck, though, is a deformed, mostly featureless second head with an elongated and toothless mouth. So take from that what you will.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to take from that?
Nightmares.
Okay then. He'll leave a small crumb of cheese on the statue.
Sure. As you walk up, you do notice on that dwarven king's brow, not the weird, gross second head, on the dwarven king's brow rests an engraved stone circlet, and his large hands are grasping the handle of a warhammer, the head of which is planted at his feet as you kind of leave it there.
Should we try to take the Warhammer, Gobloidus?
Ah, sure. You need a new weapon? Go for it.
Isn't it also
I was
stone?
about to say, you have a sword.
You do still have a
Just
sword in
your
your hand.
I mean, like, I'm good.
Do you want to help get rid of that sword before we keep going?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you...
Gobloidus, do you want me to remove the sword from your hand?
Is there a way to identify the curse?
You know, you think I would have it? I don't. I just don't have that. I don't have that spell.
Yeah.
At all. Period.
Okay. Well, we'll just break it.
I will look into this when I do have more time, though. I'm sorry. But Mel is going to remove curse on this real cursed sword.
Absolutely. As you do so, you sense the binds of the enchantment, and it is fairly effortless as you cast remove curse to snap those magical bonds, linking the cursed sword to Gobloidus's hand. As you do so, the magic doesn't fade from the weapon, though, and it continues to glow with the dull light that it has been glowing with the whole time.
Wow.
He is going to wrap it up, and you can. I will put. He kind of holds it to you. It came with the sheath, right? Like a little scabbard.
Yes.
Okay. I will give this back to you, but don't
done.
hold it. I will put it on your back, but don't look me in the eyes. Don't grab it again. Or do you want me to hold it?
No, I'll take it. But isn't the curse removed?
It is, but I think if you...
Moved from you.
Yes, it's been severed from you specifically, but I still feel like this is still cursed. If he touches it again, it's gonna immediately grab on. It just breaks the owner's attunement. It doesn't get rid of the curse.
All right. Gobloidus will tuck it in his backpack.
Hey.
Yeah,
Be a funny
yeah,
prank to pull on
Gobloidus.
someone,
You
though.
gotta know about picking up random weapons you find along this dungeon as Hex goes to
As
take
you
the
eat.
hammer.
Disgusted.
Yeah, as you break the curse too, you can feel like the weapon, like almost. It's kind of strange, like if because you're almost like humanizing it a little bit in this moment. But as you break the curse, you kind of almost feel like it's like maybe slightly disappointed. But then as you hand it, like as you kind of resheath it into Gobloidus's sheath, you get a sense of contentment.
Oh, it's okay, buddy. You just rest up in my pack.
Hex, as you go to look at the stone warhammer, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay. A 5.
Is anybody helping with that?
I can help.
Sure, yeah. Gobloidus and Hex kind of take a look at the thing, and it's Gobloidus's keen eye that that really spots it. Gobloidus, you see that the ground where the warhammer rests, it's got like a funny little scraping pattern in like a semicircle.
Look at this little groove. And he'll just like put his foot in it just for fun.
Oh, so we gotta move the hammer. Hex is gonna try moving the hammer, see if it moves.
Yeah, and as you do so, to your chagrin, it does in fact rotate in the Dwarf King's hand, grinding along the stone. As you flip it 180 degrees, making the back face forward, the entire plinth that the Dwarf King is sitting on grinds forward slightly towards you all, and it reveals a small compartment.
Oh.
Oh.
In which you find a gold circlet fitted with 3 red jewels.
I put it on. I look so pretty.
Mel is going to throttle this.
However, the grinding of the stone is quite loud as it
Oh my
shifts
God.
wide open, and almost as if in response to Hex putting on this gold circlet tiara, what have you, you hear from the eastern room, and then joining from the northern room, the howls of an angry and bitter war cry, as you can tell somebody is not happy. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and end the session.
No.
I think you look good.
Now we have a lesson in not doing this thing. I'm gonna do this thing.
Amazing. Thank you so much to everybody who came out. Thank you to all the lurkers, subscribers, everybody. I super appreciate all y'all. We're going to go have one last time to let everybody know where you can find my lovely cast. Werewolf, why don't you go first?
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Wherewolfbf. That is where, like the question, wolf as an animal, B and F. You can find me basically everywhere using that tag. I feel like most recently, I've been spending a lot of time on Twitter talking about Vampire the Masquerade, and very soon on my channel, I'm probably going to be organizing a game. So hang out, follow me for that, and stay tuned.
Yeah, make sure you drop Werewolf a follow. Next, Mishroom.
Alrighty, I am MishroomSoup. You can find me here on Twitch. Life is still a little bit fucky wucky, but we're getting through it. I'm still planning on streaming again. I just haven't had a chance to get my internet into a place where I can make it nice and reliable. But stay tuned for that. I am going to get back at it. But you can also catch me here if you're really hungering for it.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait for the comeback. Next, the Sesh.
Hi, I am the Sesh. You can find me on Twitter at TheSesh13 and TheSeshCast on everything else, including YouTube and Spotify. Yeah, Hex will return here to after traveling back in time to find a criminal from the future. Is gonna bring them to justice and stop whatever mischief they've they plan in this century.
Incredible. Time travel crab. I love it. And last, Goldmoon.
Hi, I'm Goldmoon, and you can catch me here every 2 weeks on Sunday nights for Mad Mage.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out tonight. Thank you again to Werewolf for the subscription, Skelly Skeletons for the raid, Nova Rosa for the resub, and Reichke for the resubscription. Thank you all for sponsoring and funding the magic. It all goes to bringing it to your screens and internet ears. Our next game is going to be February 12th at 7 p.m. AST, and I hope to see you there. But until next time, thank you again for being here, and stay magical. We'll talk to you all very soon.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.